Good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of DobbsQuest. As always, I am joined by Daysnick,
Hello.
GameCube,
Hello, hello.
and the Lurking Turtle.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you all here. Hello, Hudson. Always a pleasure to have you here as well. Yes. So, as always, we are playing more Ironsworn tonight. Daysnick playing the part of Serene, the Elven Bard. Turtle playing the part of Torgon, mighty shield-bearer warrior. And GameCube playing as Glane, the sneaky thief type.
That's the nicest thing I've ever heard him said about him.
Human, not snail.
The non-snail. Very human. Very human. Yeah, suspiciously specific denial there. All right, so last we had left off, the three of you had rescued the scouts who had gone missing, and you were able to get back to Woodbreak. And as soon as I get my notes back here, no, Greatfield. Woodbreak was the very first settlement. So made it back to Greatfield with the scouts. Now, Zura, who was the leader of the scouting group, who has bestowed his family heirloom sword to Torgon to replace his old damaged spear.
Woo.
He has brought up that they did find some information on what terrible threat may be there in the forest up to the north. So tonight we're going to find out what that is. So first of all, just one moment while I make a roll to start the evening. Okay, so the three of you have been put up in sort of a spare rooms within the settlement. They're not really set up great for visitors, so they've kind of been stuffing you in one of the few available rooms in the village. Just so you can at least have a space for the three of you, and not having to, bunk with the rest of the great Fieldians. So it's been nice to at least have a bit of space to call your own for the time being, while you sort of rest up for the next chapter in your journey. However,
A bit of what?
dang it, Turtle. You're too late. I've already disabled it.
No, he got me.
I gotcha. I remembered this time because of your constant pestering.
Oh, I was about to do it.
So, the three of you awake to find that something has been in your room during the night.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
So you sort of look around, examine. You notice that the door has been sort of it was locked overnight, but has been sort of pried open. None of you heard it during the night, and it looks like your items have been rummaged through.
Ooh.
Is there anything missing?
Well, you take a look at your items, checking everything out, seeing what you've got. There is one thing of note that is missing. Torgon's shield.
What?
Uh-oh.
I just got... I'm very upset.
You were about to say you just got it. You've had that since the beginning.
No,
right?
I just got this. I just got this sword, and now my shield is gone. Like this feels like a lateral trade at the best.
Oh, okay.
I'm very upset. Oh,
Well, it's very early in the morning. The sun is just coming up. So you guys have had a moment to kind of examine your things and see that seems to be the only thing missing.
I want to look for clues.
All right, you exit the room, kind of looking around, and you see that none of the rest of the house has been disturbed, except the front door has also been forced open.
So it must not have been anybody that lived there. So I mean, we only get one room of the house. Obviously,
Correct.
there are other people that live there. So I'm gonna go find the sheriff. I want to go find Sarah. Sarah.
Sierra?
Namba?
Sarah.
Namba.
Namba.
Namba was this
Who was I
guy.
thinking? Sorry, I want to go find Namba and report this. He's the sheriff or mayor or whatever. I want to go find him and report it.
Captain of the guard.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of, but also sort of leader. So when you get outside, you see that your shield is there on the ground in front of the house.
Ooh,
But
crisis averted.
So recently you using your special ability of what is it, shield bearer painting.
Yes.
You painted the image of an eagle on your shield. You can see that has been scratched off, roughly, and a threatening note has been pinned to the shield.
Oh,
Or rather,
I
I
want
guess
to
the
read the
shield has
note.
been. Yeah. Going to check the note.
yes.
All right, you take a moment to sort of dust it off because it's kind of been out on the ground all night and dirtied with the soil. But you're sort of cautious to make sure that you don't disrupt it too much. You don't want to disturb any of the clues. So, checking it out, it says that that you should not be meddling in the affairs of others, and to give up the search for the centaurs.
What?
We barely just found out it was a centaur.
Oh. You know what? I think this sounds like the trick of a sneaky fellow who pretended he was a talking horse in the last episode.
No, we've been at this for 10 minutes, and you're already pointing fingers at me.
This is not the first time that you would do something horse-related just to upset me now.
How's this horse related?
Centaurs are half horses.
Okay.
Now I'm suspicious.
So you go and confront Glane?
I am. I'm going to go confront Glane. Glane,
So
did you
my-
do this?
You're talking about the shield?
Yes.
No, I didn't do this. I mean, it looks like the door was broken in, and I was in here with you the whole night. So I wouldn't have to do that.
Well, that's true. You could mess with it and then not break open the door because you were with us.
Yeah. Plus, that shield's gotten us out of some trouble. So why would I? I helped you in the last quest we were on. I threw you my crossbow so we could take down that ogre, troll, or whatever.
Trollger.
Troll, yeah.
Okay.
Glane,
Fine.
it's your fault that he's mad at you. You shouldn't be teasing him about having lost his horse. You're searching for a cat. You should have some sympathy and empathize a little bit with the situation.
Well, to be fair, I did that before anything happened to his stuff. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Fine.
let's go talk to Namba and figure out what's going on. Let me take a look at this. I want to spend some time kind of studying it.
All right, so Serena is going to be checking out the... What are you going to be checking?
Well, somebody apparently knew that we knew something about centaurs. Now I don't know how much that's been talked around. So I need an idea of how many times Torgan has name dropped the word centaur. And around who.
Mm-hmm.
And people who would know about centaurs are fairly few and far between, which would lead me to believe, or at least suspect, that there might be other... If somebody realizes that's what we're looking for, there may be some sort of other type of magical creatures involved. So she's just picking her brain for all of her little bardic knowledge, for all the things she knows, and just trying to figure out if anything makes sense.
Right. Nothing particular comes to mind. Most of the creatures that you know of are, a little bit more brute force, and if they wanted to stop you from doing something, they would just try and kill you.
Is it written on like a paper with ink? Is it parchment? Is it written with pencil, charcoal? What is the nature of the note? The composition. Chemical composition, please.
Oh, yes, of course. Why not?
Let's just run this through a spectrometer.
There is nothing noteworthy about the the paper or ink
But
that
it is
would
paper and
narrow
ink.
down. Yeah, it is ink on paper.
What about the way that my shield was hurt? Does it look like it was done with a knife, a claw? What can you tell?
It does appear to be more done with some kind of tool than something organic. It doesn't look like some beast clawed the image off of your shield. Looks like a fairly thin layer was carved off, pretty much just enough to remove the symbol you painted.
How hard is paper to come by out here?
I mean, we know that there was the old lady that you met with had a few books worth, so not totally out of the question to have some pages available. Minnie might keep a small travel journal or something like that.
I have one. Is there any pages missing out of my journal by chance?
You do a quick check. It looks like they're all accounted for. Nothing obviously ripped out.
Why would someone scrape off the bird off of my shield if they have a problem with the centaurs?
Quite a mystery.
Torgan, how many people have you used the word centaur in front of?
Well, I've only known since we left
Woodbreak.
Woodbreak, yeah. I've only known since we left Woodbreak, and the only people that have asked about it was the scouting party after we saved them on the walk back.
Glane coughs.
Glane?
Meaningful cough.
I hate to say it, because we've been having a pretty okay run, but there was somebody else with us. The kid.
Oh, no.
The stable hand.
Oh, no.
He's got a connection to horses, right?
We're going to go throw a child.
The same child keeps getting thrown every episode.
Guys, let's not jump to conclusions.
No, I
I
want to
just-
throw him.
I just don't want to leave anything unchecked.
You know what? I don't even know why I'm angry anymore. I've got my stuff.
That's true.
Now,
you
now I'm just
you give your
curious.
shield a cursory examination, and apart from the paint job, it's in fine condition.
I'm not as angry anymore. I don't want to throw the child.
It's just a ominous note.
Where is that kid?
Where is he?
Glane,
I'm not
Glane,
mad
it's,
anymore. Where is he?
Glane, it's your job to stalk the kid. Torgan, let's go talk to Namba.
And
I'll go
Zora also wants to talk to you guys.
Okay, Torgan, you go talk to Zora. I'll go talk to Namba.
Okay. Let's split
Before
up,
we-
gang.
Before we split up, can I pull Serena aside?
Of course.
All right, Sorgan's already walking off.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you might not want to hear this from me, but if somebody can get into our room, we might not want to stay in this town very long. Honestly, the sooner we get on to the next town, the sooner you can find your next song, and I can look for my cat.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. We got some problems here.
All right, he won't listen to me, but he likes you, so I'm just saying.
We'll just maybe play fewer pranks on him, okay?
Deal.
Alright, go stalk the kid.
On it.
All right, child stalking. All right, who are we gonna spotlight on first?
Since it's the DM created plot point, we should probably start with Torgan and Zora.
All right. So,
Okay.
let's do that. So, Zora wants to talk to you about returning to the forest.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know if we gave Zora much of a voice, but he'll get default A.
Okay.
You know,
I
Nordic regions, Vikings.
I heard you wanted to speak to me. Or the band.
Torgan, I fear that time is of the essence. The city and all other settlements around here are all in grave danger. In the forest, a vile creature has set its lair.
What is it?
When I was running through the forest, I saw, in my haste, a clutch of eggs. And though I have never seen them before, I have heard stories and tales of the deadly creature that lays them. And I fear that if we are too late to stop them from hatching and to destroy the creature itself, this entire region will be overrun.
What have you seen? What are they of?
My grandmother told me the tale of this beast, a molsk. It is a fearsome, massive beast, capable of destroying the village.
Oh,
Torgan, you should go consult Serene, the person who, takes all these stories.
yeah. This seems a little bit outside of my expertise. This is kind of more of a thing for the elf of our band who collects these sort of stories. You said it's called a molsk?
Yes, I believe that is the name. Torgan, I wish for you to accompany me and my men. You have shown me that you have great strength. You are fierce in battle. Torgen, I would ask you that you come with me.
Spar A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-C-E. Spark H-U-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H-H.
The rogue. You have already saved me once, and it pains me to ask you for more. My pride it aches from asking you, but will you and your team help us one last time?
I should really ask them first. But, I believe that I've heard of these mollusks before, strangely enough. I know that seems odd, but it seems like a creature that I've fought before. They enjoy sneaking around, perhaps, in spaces they don't belong.
Well,
He didn't say mollusk.
you
Did
do
he
have
not, though?
you do have a Slayer
I think he did.
background. So it is not out of the question that you have some history of tracking and slaying beasts and horrors.
Beasts and horrors.
Beasts and horrors.
I am going to have to... Horror. I'm going to have to consult with the group. I'm going to have to find Serene, who knows much more about these creatures other than I have dealt with. But I will return. I know where she is.
All right. You go off to find Serene.
Yes.
And you find her.
Okay, I'm talking with Namba. Let's talk.
I was gonna
Let's
say-
talk to Namba before
Maybe
Torgen walks
All
up.
right. Yeah.
during that conversation, she has been talking to Namba.
Yeah, so Namba is sort of just now kind of still stretching his legs a bit, getting up for the day, you know, making sure that he's got his weapons ready and, you know, ready to make decisions for the village when you approach him.
Greetings, Namba.
Well, good morning, Serene.
I have a bit of a problem that I need to discuss with you, preferably in private.
Oh, certainly. We can go off a bit and have us a chat. Now, what is it you'd like to discuss?
Someone forced their way into the room where we were staying last night and left an ominous note on Torgen's shield and scraped off his battle paint.
That's a bit of an odd situation there, isn't it?
I kind of fill him in on the details.
Yeah. Well, I believe anybody's been, any other visitors tonight. You haven't had any quarrels with any of the folks here, have you?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, nothing stolen then. Just a bit of a paint job, eh?
They took the paint off, and there's this ominous note threatening specifically Torgen and the mission he's traveling for.
Oh, this is very peculiar.
Is there
Oh.
anyone here in the town that you know of that has knowledge of magical creatures?
Well, I could ask around a bit. You know, on the rare occasion that someone does know about something like this, I should be able to figure it out without tipping my hand, as it were.
I'd appreciate it if you could do a little snooping on our behalf. This is It's concerning, to say the least.
I'll do what I can. We all owe you a great deal. I'll report
be
back with any information that I may find.
Thank you. This would be a good time for Torgan to walk up.
Yeah.
Serene, I could really use a hand over at Namba's house, if you have it.
Over at Zora's house, you mean?
Zora's house, sorry.
What's up? She starts walking beside you as you just fill her in.
You know, as much as I hate to do it, we may need to go find Glane before we go back to... Yes.
I think we should probably minimize how long we dawdle here if there's people specifically out for... or people specifically taking interest in your mission. I'm concerned. Namba didn't know of anybody offhand that would have any knowledge of magical creatures. But he's gonna do a little snooping. I'm fairly confident he's benign. So...
Well, strangely enough, I've been asked about a different magical creature.
Do tell.
It is known as a mollusk. Do you know of these things?
She twitches a little bit and nods.
Understand that they're hard to find and that they're a very rare creature in this world, and we've been asked if we would like to fight them.
They're more common in the Elven lands, actually. I know quite a bit about them. They used to be farmed once upon a time, many hundreds of years ago. And occasionally, one will still show up in the wild, but for many years, they were thought exterminated on this continent.
Well, apparently they've found a nest of them.
That is a matter that should be seen to quickly. Do you think that's what had Katja upset?
I don't know, but all I know is we need to wash these eggs.
Serene rolls her eyes. Maybe smacks Torgan upside the back of his head a little bit of a gimp slap. We haven't even had breakfast yet. Keep your awful jokes to yourself.
Everyone likes a good egg wash.
Let's try and find Glane and see if he's had any luck. He should be somewhere around about the stables.
Dude, we keep talking. Meanwhile, Glane. Glane, you were going to be looking for Flint.
Yes.
You do not actually find him at the stables this morning. You kind of do a bit of searching around, trying to figure out where he has gotten off to. Before you do, you are approached by Serene and Torgan, who seem to have grave news for you.
I see him
Glane,
walking up. Hey, the kid's not here, which is kind of not suspicious at all. What's going on?
Oh, isn't it, though?
we have magical stompy monster beast eggs in the forest we need to go exterminate with Mr. Zora guy.
That's
Otherwise,
the easiest explanation ever.
there's probably going to be a lot of destroyed and abandoned settlements in the next 2 years in this region. They reproduce amazingly quickly.
Glane, are you familiar with the ravenous mollusk?
Hang on, I gotta see to something outside of the game for just a moment. If Dobbs can vamp for a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
World build.
World.
Maybe you could describe to us a mollusk.
Let's see. Torgan, you have never faced a mollusk.
Oh, good.
No, not ever before, but you have heard tales. Torgan, you come from a sort of a background of training to slay beasts, to drive them back. The cities within the large sort of dense pockets of civilization are constantly threatened by the beasts from the surrounding Ironlands, this frontier that breeds these impossible monsters and terrifying creatures. And so you have trained to track down and destroy these monstrous beasts of all kinds. The mollusk, you have never seen one, but you know a little bit about them. They are massive creatures, easily taller than a man, and they are covered by this thick carapace that is almost impenetrable. The only sure weak point on the creature is the exposed eyes.
Certainly does sound like a thing.
It does. Further issue is that the creature secretes this acidic oil wherever it travels. Making the area around its nest quite deadly.
We're doing this. We're really doing this. It was bound to happen.
I mean, absolutely.
I've provided some Final Fantasy
I've seen
image references for those of you who need some.
I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
They sure do look familiar.
Yeah.
I had to turn Safe Search off to see those.
What are you, Japanese?
I'm back, by the way.
Excellent. Now, there is a good chance that if you guys embark on this mission, you may not come back alive.
So I was being asked if I wanted to go along with this. Is that where we were?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were just attacked, possibly in our sleep, and then the same town sends us off to a death mission. I think our work here is done. We've given them their party back. They can defend the town. I think it's best if we move along from here.
Should we abandon one of our vows?
I think this world is rife with possible vows, and we should probably look to ones that take us more in the right direction for our quest.
Well, Glane, while I understand where you're coming from, and for once, don't completely condemn your logic, these creatures are a significant problem, and one adult can lay hundreds of eggs in a season, it's very... It could spell doom for this entire region if this particular threat goes unchecked.
I look at them and realize that I'm outvoted, and just kind of nod.
Mm-hmm.
Now, wait a minute. I haven't decided if I want to do this either. I've just gone to consult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I want to. I'm saying that would probably... I feel a little obligated since I know what's at stake. Not necessarily for the sake of this town, but in general. And, it only takes one season for those eggs to hatch. We won't be far enough away by the time, even if we ran, before they hatch.
If this is going to become a problem that's going to be ours, we may as well take it when it's at its smallest.
Yes, but I mean, I don't even know if this has anything to do with the recent happenings. I mean, why has this happened to me? Does this have anything to do with this creature?
They're not particularly intelligent. I wouldn't associate the two. I think it's probably separate.
I don't know. I feel like perhaps I have bigger problems myself right now.
I mean, these things aren't known for being fast, so if we start moving now, we can get ahead of it. But we'd have to go now.
I'm going to go along with it. But if I die during this mission, the blood is upon your own heads.
I mean, if you don't want to go, I was going along with you two. If you and me are out on this, then Serene can leave town with us.
After all we've been through, I feel like maybe we should stick together.
I think we should just smash some eggs on the forest on our way out.
That's fine. Let's attempt to avoid whatever creature it is, but let's destroy that nest as we go.
Just on the way out of town. I have no intention of coming back here tonight if we can be avoided. But I don't exactly want to leave this festering problem to mature either. But those are not necessarily exclusive goals.
Well, we're going to have to tell a little fib to Namba then.
I'm okay with that.
Because he's interested in us going with them as a party.
You're Zura.
Zura?
Yeah. Whom
Zora.
you have the ancestral sword of.
Yes. We're going to have to tell a little fib and tell them that we're okay with it and that we'll start out tomorrow, but in reality leave this evening. Sneaking out.
I don't think... Is that... Do you think that's the best way to approach this? Seeing like he gave you a sword? If we all go, that doesn't mean we have to come back with them.
Well, I just think that if we're just trying to destroy some eggs, then we're going to take care of their problem for us, and at the same time, they're not going to be a problem for us either. In case one of them is plotting against us, perhaps.
They are some of the few who know about the centaurs. Glane, you said you didn't find the kid?
He wasn't here when I got here. And
That's
usually where I find him.
So let me make
We
sure
gotta
I
find that
understand the
kid.
plan correctly. The idea is you are going to agree to travel there to destroy the nest without Zora. You're going to agree to go with Zora, but you're actually going to leave before him just to make sure if there is anything going on that you can handle the quest without them just to be safe.
I have-
Yeah, we can offer to scout ahead or something.
I have a game mechanic question.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say that we completed our vow, but we never came back.
Mm-hmm.
Does that still count as the vow being completed if they don't verbally recognize and we roll whether or not?
Yes, you you do not have to turn in your quest to the quest giver unless somehow that is part of the vow.
Okay.
In fact, this vow was made, I believe, back in Woodbreak, all the way back in Woodbreak.
It was.
Yes.
So
yeah, I don't have
Technically,
to
they
go
don't
to
even know we vowed.
exactly.
I don't have to go to the prize counter and turn in my vow tickets and.
Once you believe that you have completed the quest, then you roll for the fulfillment of it.
Okay.
To determine if you actually did fulfill it, or if it turns out there was something you did not do successfully.
Which always happens, by the
It
way.
can. You can always get those 10s.
No, it's always happened to us up to this point.
That's a good point.
Like, yes, but.
Yes, but yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Well, if we're doing this, I need to go take care of some things in town before night falls. It gets too late.
I think we should find that kid at least.
You know who his parents are? He ever mention?
Not to
No.
me. He always
No.
talks to Glade.
He didn't mention anything like that to me, and I didn't ask. If you guys want to look for him, I've got to get into town before shops start to close.
All right. Let's.
I grow suspicious of Glade. What could he possibly have to do in this town?
Strange at this point just kind of hand wave dismisses it. Something to do with cat food, probably.
Whenever you're ready to follow me and what I'm doing, Dobbs, I'm ready.
All right.
Want to stick with them?
Yeah, let's spotlight Glane. So Glane
I'm
is
going
traveling.
through the shops in the marketplace looking for very specific weapons because I know what we're about to go up against and we're not quite ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for 4 specific weapon types. I'm looking for either some kind of battle hammer, some kind of a ball and chain mace situation,
Mm-hmm.
anything that involves fire, and not from a weapon shop, but large amounts of salt that we can take with us.
Oh.
So the marketplace is more of just a small bartering counter within one of the buildings. There's very little in the way of a full-on trading post at Greatfield. All of the settlements in the Ironlands are fairly small, and commerce is not a major concern. Survival is. However, there are a few items you are able to procure. From where they would be curing their meats, there is a slight surplus of salt, which, knowing your deeds and what you have done, they are happy to part with it for as a token of gratitude. It's not much, not as much as you would like, but a hefty pouch full. As for weapons, very few. Spears are the default for most Ironlanders, requiring very little metal. Despite the name, the Ironlands are not particularly rich with resources. There is iron within it, but it is quickly used up. The need
Ironless land was lucky hatchy.
the need outpaces the supply, as with most resources in the Ironlands. And that is why spears are typically the default, for requiring very little metal per weapon, unlike a sword, which is why those are fairly rare out here.
And nothing that would give me access to fire on the go. I take it.
Nothing
if you get some oil,
Yeah, you can get some oil.
flaming arrows of doom.
But it would require some preparation to set that up. In the midst of battle, it could be a few seconds to get that prepared.
Okay, so I'm gonna go all in on taking as much salt as they're willing to hand out. And even though we don't have weapons that are the greatest to deal with what we're going to go up against, we can lace the weapons we do have with it to make them more potent. And I'm going to distribute that to all three of us.
All right.
I'm ready for a full-bound assault.
Ah. All right. So, you meet with Zura, and you agree to head out first thing in the morning. But we all know that's not exactly what's going down.
So we don't need to make another vow, because
No,
this is still the original vow.
Yes, this is still part of the original vow.
Oh,
Maybe
okay,
we'll just
so
leave a note on his
we-
door that we scouted ahead, just so that we don't offend him too much.
Yeah.
We wrote it on the other side of the note we already had as safe paper.
There you go.
Well, what's this then? They don't want me to look for the centaurs. Wait, turn it over.
Oh, okay. Scouted it. Oh no. All right. So, you guys make your final preparations and head out very early before the sun rises, before the settlement of Greatfield wakes.
Did anyone ever see the kid again?
You did not. No one ever ran into him.
Maybe you learned something from Glane.
Did I get to talk to Namba again?
He did not have any additional information for you. He did not find any leads.
Who's Flint's parents?
Is that a question for Namba?
It is.
Obviously it's name generator and name generator.
Bob and Bobette. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were going to go with orphan. See, now I completely. I paint a mollusk on my shield.
Ooh. All right. Let's see here. Do you have to do any sort of roll for that? When you paint your shield with a meaningful symbol, envision what you create. A mollusk. If you endure stress as you face off against a fearsome foe, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Nice.
I seem
And
to have
let's see
something
here.
against these things.
Yeah. And don't forget that as a slayer, you have, when you gather information by tracking a beast or horror, or when you secure an advantage by readying yourself for a fight against them, you can add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So just keep that in mind when you are preparing to engage.
Okay.
We should
have
all
that
probably do
bonus.
secure and advantage rolls before we get to the next step of the story. And be suspicious that we didn't find the kid.
I am suspicious.
It's fair.
Don't be suspicious.
That's because you are suspicious.
All right. So, what are you guys going to do now?
Get some rest until it's time to go.
Okay.
Secure and advantage.
Secured.
So describe what you are doing to secure your advantage here.
Well, Serene saw Glane come back with a bag of salt and some oil, and she's like, "Ah, I see. Smart one." So she's going to kind of put her head together with Glane and come up with a way to... She's going to take some of her arrows and bind them with the oil so that they'll be flammable if it comes to that.
Right.
And Not all of them, just some of them.
No.
Oh,
And probably, well, Serene only has a dagger. She doesn't carry a large
No.
knife. But, maybe just rub it in the salt a little bit. Couldn't hurt.
Salt in the wound. All right,
I
go
would
ahead
like
and
to find some flint before we leave.
for a quick little fire starting, if necessary.
Yes, perhaps against my sword.
Not
All
the
right.
boy. Actual
Not the
Flint.
boy. The actual, yes.
Right. Let's see here. Serene, go ahead and roll for secure an advantage.
I assume Glenn and I tell Torgan he should be doing this too.
Right. Yes, of course.
What roll am I rolling?
You'll be making that with wits. Let's see
Oh,
here.
excellent. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I-
Iron roll. Typically, this would be right before, but I'm okay with doing it a little bit more in advance. All right, so you can make another move now and add +1, or take 2 momentum.
2 momentum, please.
Okay, so Serene has prepped her weapons in preparation for the coming battle. Salted her dagger, oiled her arrows.
Do I get a bonus from the poison stuff for that? Does that trigger those abilities?
Let's see here. What is that? Poison expert. When you prepare poisoned arrows, suffer -1 supply and roll wits. On a strong hit, set your arrow track to 5. On a weak hit, add up to +2. On a miss, face danger +iron. When you strike a foe with a poisoned arrow, inflict +2 harm on a hit and suffer -1 arrow.
So it
yeah,
might
that would make sense.
matter later.
You know what? I would allow you to, in lieu of the momentum, if you want to use this make another move now with +1. If you'd like to do that for your poison expert skill, treating the salt to your arrows. Or we can count it as the fiery arrows. I would be willing to count that. Or you can just keep the momentum.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if inflicting more harm later would be more useful than having extra momentum.
Yeah,
That's,
momentum comes across very nicely in a pinch.
Yeah, that's a rough call. I'm not the main combat feature, so
All right, so we'll keep the momentum.
I'll keep the momentum, yeah.
All right.
Personally, I keep the salt in a little bag on my belt.
Right.
And I have a couple of vials of oil in glass vials that I can just kind of throw
Yeah.
to try to then light somehow.
Yeah, maybe
So
Serene can
they're
light
not
it or
treated on my
something.
weapons right now.
No.
They're just throwable and ready to go.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to head out?
Yes.
It's a dangerous mission ahead.
I mean, we're healthy. Our spirits are the best as they could be. We have full supply. I don't think there's any more way we could be any more ready.
Unless there's a way we can farm momentum.
Yeah, please don't.
Well, something might happen on the way there.
It's true. Could happen. All right. So you guys set out in the early hours of the morning before the sun has risen. Sneaking out from Greatfield, you leave the village behind, hoping to protect it and its people from the threat that lies in the forest to the north.
Do we leave a note for Zora, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
With any luck, they'll find the terrors already destroyed, and our vow will be completed.
That's the hope.
All right. Just so that we don't piss off anybody, we're gonna be like, "Hey, we scouted ahead. Catch up with us."
Right. Okay, so you've left the information and set out to the north towards the forest. The trip is tense. The crisp early morning air before the sunrise is a chill to your lungs. Although now the heat of midday is getting unbearable in the Ironlands, the early mornings are still cool and crisp. A few very small animals scurry around in the early hours, but other than that, it is a lonely trek. No sign of any other souls around. After much traveling, you reach the forest to the north, crossing the old path that acts as road between the two closest villages. And you recognize the area that you entered previously to track down Zura and the others in the forest. You don't know exactly where Zura saw the nest. From his description, it was somewhere while he was darting through the woods, but you didn't get much of a great description of the exact location. And now, sometime after his trek, the tracks will be very difficult to follow, if visible at all.
I say that we stay low to the ground and search the lower areas. These things aren't really known for climbing.
Maybe looking for that, the description that was given to us back in Woodbreak of the shimmering river.
Look, they are not difficult to track once you find where one has been. They kind of leave an acid trail. And if memory serves, that's a rather foul stench as well. If the wind is
Look for
blowing
places where the
right
grass
way.
isn't growing.
If the wind's blowing the wrong directions, surely we'll smell it.
All right, shall we begin searching the area?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Serene probably will be going out and leading the way. She knows a great deal about these creatures. Strong hit. You discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 momentum. So what do you learn here? The information you find.
We do happen to be downwind.
Serene's keen nose detects just the slightest hint of this foul odor she described earlier. The direction is a little bit tricky to place, but she is certain that you are on the right track. And with very little further travel, you should be able to lock on to the path soon enough.
Okay.
All right.
We should travel that way.
All right, carrying on through the woods. You're getting deeper and deeper into the forest. As you remember from the previous day's expedition to save Zura and the other scouts, getting this far in, it does begin to get dimmer and more oppressive as the canopy closes over the sky, creating this complete shield from the outside world. The forest becomes quiet and still, as if every creature knows that making even the slightest noise could mean that that is their last noise. Let's see here. We are going to continue following the track through the forest. You are on the right track. The smell is getting more and more defined. Serene is certain that she is heading in the right direction. However, a sudden dip in the terrain, and Serene begins to lose her footing, just barely. Serene, going to need to make a roll to face danger.
Oh no.
This will be with edge. Not your best, not your worst. A weak hit. So let's see here. Would you rather suffer 1 momentum or 1 harm? That's your choice, Serene.
I'm at 8. I can probably spare 1 momentum.
All right. A small bit of the ground gives away at sort of the cusp of a sort of sloping section of the forest. It sort of begins to roll downhill into a sort of wooded valley. Serene barely maintains her footing, but the sort of soil crumbles down and sort of drifts off into the valley below. The hill is not particularly steep, but it is a very long decline. The trees, however, the canopy does not seem to descend with it. It's the trees seem to have grown taller here as the land sort of slips away, creating sort of the feeling of a deeper portion of the ocean, even darker and more mysterious still.
So, Bardic Knowledge check.
Mm-hmm.
These types of creatures like dark, earthen places. So, is it likely that there would be a higher chance they'd be in the valley? Is there water nearby?
You do hear sort of the distant sound of perhaps a small brook.
Down below?
Yes.
I impart this knowledge to the boys.
It seems like the forest itself wants us to go down that way.
It does give that impression. The problem is it's a bad idea. It would be better to lure them out of their territory. They'll have an advantage if we're on their ground. But I'm not sure with the materials and only the 3 of us how we would go about baiting them out at this point.
I pull out one of my vials and wiggle it. Well, there are leaves down there.
Glane, do you want to set the whole forest on fire?
This forest has had nothing in it that didn't need to die.
It's an old-growth forest. Like, this could be a wildfire that would burn for months. You'd do more harm than the monsters.
I gesture down to the valley, then after you.
So we just want to stay up here and yell and hear mollusk.
She kneels kind of at the edge of the slope and peers down. Are there any large stones or maybe a chunk of deadwood she could toss down?
Kind of get a sizable rock.
She takes it and just kind of chunks it, kind of sidearm through the undergrowth, and does kind of the listen check to see how long it takes to hear a solid thunk.
The stone picks up speed gradually as it continues down the hill. The terrain sort of rolls away out of sight and back in. but eventually it you hear a solid thud and see the distant sight of birds scattering from a shaken tree. It looks like the hill does level out after a while, not very far. You could perhaps chuck a rock with just the right angle to get all the way to the bottom of the hill, if there weren't all the trees in the way. So it's a fair distance, but the slope is gradual enough that as long as you keep your footing sure, you shouldn't have any trouble getting to the bottom.
Looks like we're going to have to go in.
I can't think of a way around it.
And if we don't hurry, then the scouting party will catch up with us, and that's not what we want.
I have a hood over my head, but I reach up and grab the lower part of my hood and put it over my nose. That smell's just going to get worse.
Okay, Serene is going to kind of take a step back and kind of look around, kind of along the edge of the incline, kind of trying to get an idea of like if this would be the best place to go down. Maybe there'd be some place we could, I don't know, tie a rope for a more steeper decline, but a faster way out should trouble arise. An exit strategy, if you will.
It's a very... The sort of crest of the hill it's very wide, traveling off in both directions. And as far as you can see, it's a sort of gradual slope the whole way around, at least the area you are in. There are places where it sort of rises and falls, sort of a sort of sweeping hillside covered in trees. No obvious steep drop-offs, at least in the area you're in. If you'd like to search around a bit further, you can.
Time is of the essence. Serene will carefully begin to pick her way down and suggest Torgan take the rear guard on this one as the shield bearer. It briefly crosses her mind that we could just put Glane on Torgan's shield and shove, but she thinks better of it.
He does seem to like that sort of adventure.
Rule of cool.
But at the same time, we don't want to get separated.
And we definitely don't want to separate Torgan from his shield.
Also true.
I don't think Glane would be able to make as good a use of it.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty cool use of it, you gotta admit.
She considers it briefly. Thinks better of it. What kind of roll do I need to make at this point?
None right now, but I do want to ask Torgan, as having the combat talent Ironclad, you are able to choose between being lightly armored and geared for war. Previously, we have you set as lightly armored.
Yes. So the difference is...
So with lightly armored, when you have to endure harm in a fight, you get a +1 bonus on it, and you get momentum on a hit. When you are geared for war, you get a +2 bonus and take momentum on a hit, but you are encumbered, which is a in game mechanics, it is a condition that means that you can never have a momentum higher than 9 instead of 10.
I was wondering what encumbered meant.
Yeah, you're rarely at 10 anyway, so it might be worth it. And we could just
that's
say
what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, I mean, even at a 9, my chances are pretty good. So I will take the Geared for War.
And there's one other thing. It's not just that it changes your max to 9, it changes your reset to 1. So normally when you burn momentum, you go back down to 2.
2, yes.
You would instead go down to 1.
Again, I don't think that a 2 would help me that much anyway.
All right, so we're going to go with it.
If I'm getting +1 each time I take a hit anyway, then as long as I stay away from those misses, then
all right. This will help you in combat at least. You'll be able to shake off attacks much more easily, and gain momentum as a result. Okay, just wanted to touch that real quick. So, the three of you make your way down the hillside, deeper into the forest. The air becomes more hushed. A sort of very earthen smell mixes with this sour scent in the air as you begin getting closer to what you believe is the nest of the mollusk. The waterway that Serene had heard earlier from the top of the hill finally comes into sight. A small brook sort of coming down the side of the hill, where several different small tributaries sort of form up to a larger creek at first, but then as more sort of wind their way in, it becomes a small brook, heading further and further north into the woods. It's here that you begin to see the first physical signs of the creature's presence. Large swaths of the greenery in the forest has been all stripped bare from some areas around the trees. There's a sort of very discreet line on the trees where you see that all the small bushes and shrubs have been completely devoured up to a certain point. And it's a much higher point than you were hoping to see. It looks like in some places this creature has eaten parts of tree and bushes as far as maybe 7-8 feet up into the air.
Mm-hmm. Only one thing worse than a regular mollusk, and that's a giant one.
We're gonna need more salt.
All right. Still now, at this area, the scent is sort of overpowering. It's hard to get a good idea of which direction it's coming from. Do you want to search the area?
I say maybe Serene can see where the freshest looking trail is.
That's the one that smells the worst.
All right, go ahead and do a wits roll. Gather your courage, gather your wits.
Realize the cat's disconnected the mouse again.
All right, weak hit. The information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. And take +1 momentum. Building up that momentum, which is good. Let's see here. All right. There does seem to be fresh tracks in the area. The glistening trail, unmistakable. The tracks of a mollusk. However, this does present a bit of a problem following the tracks of a creature whose tracks are corrosive to the touch. The creature has performed a sort of maneuver that has sort of a wide turn. There is the part of the forest you are on, and then there's the part of the forest that is on the opposite side of one of these long trails. And that is the direction you need to go.
So
now-
it's basically made a border around its lair.
It seems so, and you'll have to cross it. It's
I
not
propose that we stay near the water.
a wise choice.
Because
Seems-
if we get covered in mollusk slime, then we can jump in the water and try to wash it off before it corrodes too much.
It might be wise even to try and walk in the shallows, assuming our boots are up to it.
Now
It would hear us coming then, though.
Maybe, maybe not.
Now, one problem is that the brook sort of veers away from the direction that the tracks lead. It seems that the creature, just judging by the tracks, the creature comes here for water.
See, if time wasn't such an issue, then I would say we hang out and try to ambush it.
We still could set a trap. It will take them longer to find where we went.
I do think it's a safer bet than running in after it.
We also do need to find and slay the eggs, though, and they'll be on the inside.
This body of water, is this a river or is this like a pond or a stream? Does it go anywhere?
A brook. Presumably it will join up with a river at some point. Or
Small
maybe
creek.
just a pond, but currently it sort of veers away from the direction the tracks are leading.
But it flows out of here.
Presumably.
It's not standing.
I mean, it could. No, this particular water is running, though it could be leading in towards some sort of reservoir, a lake or a pond within the forest.
Okay. If it was self-contained, I would say let's just dump all of our salt in here and leave. This is where it drinks. So it would kill itself.
It burns my tongue.
But if it's going to clean itself out, that's not going to work.
Judging the size, based on the size of the trail, how mature of an adult are we looking at? Is it?
Or
And
does it
is it
look like
just
there's more
one?
than one?
Yeah.
It only seems to be the one. Solitary creatures, from what you know. But it appears to be a full-grown mollusk.
Hmm.
I hate it already. I don't know. I think we have to make a decision. Are we going to try to ambush it, or are we going to take the fight to it?
I think we need.
When we were here for the
Slay
eggs,
the
too.
eggs.
So we need to get in there.
So we're going to have to go in.
Is there any deadfall that perhaps we could use to sort of lay a quick path?
Let's see if that will work. That would be. Let's see. You're acting with insight, so this could be a wits roll to try and overcome this obstacle. So yeah, let's see how well that goes. Oh, a weak hit. You
We don't have
succeed.
we don't have an axe with us, but perhaps we could throw a few branches and make a little bit of a crossing.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, You succeed, but you faced a troublesome cost. So, Serene is gathering some of this this fallen leaves from the ground, other debris she can find, some moderately sized branches, sort of trying to build a small makeshift bridge quickly to bridge the gap. And gets that in place, and the three of you prepare to cross one at a time. Torgan, Ghislaine, and then Serene last. However, over time, as the acid is sort of eating into this, it sort of begins to crumble on the inside, not visibly.
Right, we need to go quickly.
Right, and Serene sort of breaks through the branches, which are quickly weakened by the corrosive acid. And as a result, some of her gear that she had prepared for the fight sort of falls into the acid. She instinctively reaches to grab for it, but then thinks better of it and just accepts the loss, knowing that is gone. 5-second rule does not apply here.
So I lost some arrows, or
A small dip in supply, just various supplies of some sort.
oh no, my crackers.
Crackers. No more midday snack.
Sorry, boys, we're not eating lunch today.
I had some hard candy in there.
I'm having eggs.
You don't want to eat these. Trust me.
Well, you have made it across, and you are now on the trail towards the creature's lair. Any last preparations?
With any luck, the bridge will be eaten away before they find us. And they won't be able to track us that way.
Luck. All right.
I don't think I've ever felt as in danger as I do right now.
Even when you were playing patty cake with Katja?
Even then, I feel something bad about to happen.
On the other side of this bridge, are we entering just more forest? Is there a cave? Like, what are we coming up on?
No cave. The forest continues ahead, but now you're sort of within this ring that the creature has created. Judging by the bend of it, it's going to be very large, this sort of area it has defined as its territory. But it is a sort of... It has lost a lot of the greenery that the forest had to make it more inviting and feeling a little bit more of a pleasant hike. This is a sort of tainted ground. This creature has fed upon all of the greenery. The animals do not come this far into the forest anymore.
I motion to Serene and Torgan. I point Serene to the left, Torgan to the right, and then gesture that we start walking kind of in a long line to cover a lot of ground.
Sweeping maneuver. But still within maybe 2 arms lengths of one another, walk abreast.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Paces apart.
But we just walk in a line so that we're not in a cluster when something comes upon us.
I whisper, remember, we're here for the eggs. If we can avoid the creature, then we should.
All
Or
right.
at least avoid its attention.
You carry on through the forest quietly, making sure not to disturb any more of the underbrush than you absolutely must, trying to keep any sound to a minimum. Head on a swivel, keeping an eye out for any signs of the creature moving around in the dark. The sounds of the brook still within earshot, providing at least a little bit of covering noise. Torgan, Out of the corner of your eye, you spot something in the distance. A small bit of color in an otherwise dreary area of the forest. Looking closely, sort of trying to peer out and see exactly what it is. It does look like this sort of nasty yellow color that at first looks like a sort of large pile of off-colored rocks, but you think that may be the actual egg clutch there, sort of nestled between this small outcropping of old mossy boulders.
I'm going to wave to the others and point to what I see.
I wave down Serene since she's on the farthest side from him.
Serene falls back to Glaine's position, and then both of us to Torgen. And kind of see what he's seeing. And perhaps make a slow advance on the position.
All right. The three of you sort of make your way closer and closer, and you see that this has got to be it. There's this sort of C-shaped collection of boulders, and there in the center, nestled, is this mass of these hard, sort of off yellow spheres. The color is reminiscent of sort of disease and pestilence. It's this herald of oncoming danger.
Serene
What are
looks.
they- Sorry.
Serene kind of looks over at Glaine and is like, "You still got one of those vials handy?"
I was about to say, what are they resting in?
Now you want to burn the forest?
Well, they're in a bunch of rocks. It'll be fine.
Sort of is like a natural campfire circle here.
So they're just in a pile of rocks?
Yeah, just sitting nestled here. Protected on most sides, except for this opening that you have. This is almost a cave, an uncovered cave.
Okay. Yeah, so I get one of the vials, and instead of throwing it like I would have in battle, I just pop the lid, and I get a little bit on each one.
All right, sort of just trying to get as much of the area covered as possible.
Just splashing it on as much as I can.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere.
Yeah, the oil is just emptied all over the eggs here.
I shake the bottle out, and then I gesture to Torgen. Flint.
I am ready if you are. I will strike my flint against the sword of Zora, causing a spark.
Serene, watch our back.
All right. With
Serene takes
Zura's
point.
sword and the flint, you get the sparks going until one of them catches. And the fire, just a slow ember at first, but quickly coats the entire set of eggs. Just this sudden until the whole area within the rocks is alight with flame.
This is definitely going to get its attention. We don't want to stay here.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Agreed.
There might be more than one clutch of eggs. We should continue sweeping to the other side.
Oh,
and
no.
then bail out the other side of the forest.
I didn't even think of that.
Probably should have thought of that before we lit this on fire.
We're going the right way. It's fine.
So, choice of words. This is going to get its attention. So,
Oh, no.
there's a moment where it seems like this will take care of the mollusk problem, at least for this clutch. that there's nothing now in this area to worry about. We need to move on quickly. Until, as you're backing away from the area, ensuring that the whole thing has caught, where you begin to breathe a sigh of relief until you realize that one of those boulders has begun to pivot.
No.
And this large amorphous form emerges from one side of the rock.
Well, hey, it's already taking fire damage. Excellent.
These two protrusions sort of slowly stretch out, revealing these large black orbs from each, peering down at you, at least twice the height of a man. The creature sort of begins to slowly pivot towards you at first, but then this sort of silent yell comes from its body. This sort of lack of vocal cords, but there is still this rumbling force that you feel within it that shakes you to your core. As the mollusk begins its acceleration and begins to charge at you.
I ready my shield.
I reach into my pouch and I sprinkle a line of salt between us and it.
All right. Let's start with Glane is going to secure an advantage here. Preparing to enter combat.
Suddenly the music gets dramatic.
All right, so Glane, I'm gonna say plus shadow for your salt preparation.
Okay, so 3.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, God.
you fail, or your assumptions betray you. Pay the price.
It's going great.
My momentum can't pull me out of this, and I have no reroll ability right now.
No.
Basically, your salt just didn't do jack shit. It
So
was not enough to matter.
It's too big. It's not enough salt, too big of a mollusk.
yeah, the old wives' tale that a salt would keep a mollusk at bay may have been exaggerated. It seems that that's not going to do much. Seeing the creature now before you with no with not much of a place to run, let's have you as a failure condition here. You're going to endure stress. You face mental shock or despair. So you're going to suffer spirit equal to your foe's rank. This is a rank 4 foe.
Oh my God.
Roll spirit or heart, whichever is higher. Well, for you, that's a tie. So you're just rolling plus 1 here on your iron roll.
Oh, God.
All right, so that's no change. You stay at 1. So unfortunately, that did not pan out for you, but you are still able to begin an assault, or if you want to shift spotlight to someone else.
I take 2 steps back, and I grab my dagger from its tip, and I go to make a throw.
I'm going to throw the dagger.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll to enter the fray.
Make sure you aim correctly.
This will be.
Oh, and this is... None of my bonuses work because I'm not doing this from a place of being sneaky. I'm right in
Right.
front of it.
Yes. So this will
Okay.
be enter the fray with wit. You are facing off against your foe. This may be a heart roll here.
Oh god.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, that is a weak hit. You can either take the initiative or take 2 momentum.
What does taking the initiative do for me?
It means that you're going to be sort of on the assault, and that you'll sort of have instead of using clash to attack, it'll be a strike maneuver. Typically, strike is going to be better for you.
I will take the momentum.
Okay. At a low momentum as you were, that's probably a good call there. All right.
Where it's just starting, it's going to come up.
Right. But you do not have the initiative in the fight, unfortunately. So, let's see. So, you are taking your dagger, and you're going to just try and land a hit on it immediately from a distance. So, you're going to be you're shooting an advancing foe, effectively. So, you'll be rolling with edge, which is 2. So you at least have that going for you. Come on. A myth. You are outmatched. You must pay the price, and your foe still has the initiative. Oh, this is bad. This is a bad start. Oh, this could be the end.
Your momentum could make it a weak hit.
That's a great point. You can still inflict harm with this.
That's burning 4 momentum.
Oh wait, no,
take
4
me
would
down
not
to
be
2.
enough. Yeah, 4 would be. Oh wait, no, you've
Oh.
got 6. You've got 6. 6
You
would
have
make it a
6
weak
'cause it's
a weak
plus the
hit.
2.
No, but when you reset, you get 2 in your bank, right?
No, this is you'd be back down to 2.
goes down
That's
to 0.
correct. You'd be back down to 2.
Yeah.
From
I'm
6.
burning 4, but I'm using my 6.
Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to turn it into a weak hit.
The alternative is I just missed and threw my dagger, right?
Well, you'd endure harm,
Possibly.
which
yeah.
could be up to death.
Yeah. Yeah, let me go ahead and change that. It's momentum burn.
All right. We're going to change that to a weak hit, burning the momentum. So you do inflict harm on this creature. The mollusk is the dagger flies true, striking the creature, which seems almost completely unfazed by the blow. But now you sit without your trusty dagger, somewhat exposed, losing 1 supply. But the important thing is that you are still standing and you are not overrun by the creature just yet. Let's pivot over. Serene or Torgan, who wants to step up here next?
Serene, you want to shoot this thing?
Yeah, I do. And since it's already, charging through fire, I'm gonna reach for one of those oil arrows.
All right.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right, so first, you're going to be facing off against your foe with heart.
Not my best, but here we go.
But a weak hit. You can take the momentum or the initiative. You're already at 8 momentum.
Take the initiative.
In fact, you could burn the momentum that you have to make that a strong hit.
I don't think things are quite that dire yet.
All right, so we're just going to take, which was it? Taking initiative?
I'll take initiative.
All right, you've got it. Okay, so with initiative, you can strike the creature with edge. Your best. No, your second best.
Yeah.
A 2. All right. Again, an opportunity to burn the momentum. The difference would be 1 extra harm and keeping your initiative versus only doing 2 harm and losing initiative. Not desperate, but...
I'll proceed with the weak hit.
All right, you've lost the initiative. So, Serene, describe your attack.
The monster is pivoting and charging at us through fire. So I'm going to take this this nice oil-soaked arrow and let loose an arrow kind of into its main body mass through the fire that it's charging at us through.
All right. It strikes, singeing and piercing the creature. Again, the creature emits this silent roar and continues its charge towards you. Seeing the creature's surprising speed, you have to sort of stumble backwards to keep your distance, and now you're sort of on the defensive side here instead of the attack. Torgan.
I would like to try, without getting covered in any slime, chopping off one of its eye stalks with my sword.
Go ahead and roll with heart to see if you are in control. One more L.
Oh, of course. That's right on brand for me to misspell something.
All right, let's see what we've got here. Oh, no.
No.
Oh no.
No.
Combat begins with you at a disadvantage. Pay the price, and your foe has initiative. Do you have enough? You do not have anywhere near enough momentum to burn for this.
I don't.
Man. No one has initiative now. The creature is in control of this battle. Oh boy. All right. Pay the price. Your foe has the initiative. So, you rush in, charging, prepared to take on the creature, and you swing with your sword, but you misjudge its speed. The sword of Zura clangs against the creature's mighty carapace, not even chipping through it. You're knocked off balance by the ricochet, the reflection of the force you had in your swing. I need you to, let's see here, roll with your iron. So a iron roll 2.
Okay. I didn't take any damage though.
Not yet.
Okay. Because I still got the ironclad. So I'm with a 2. I'm sorry.
Yes, iron roll 2.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, now. All right, so you try to right yourself to evade the creature's approach, but you're unable to get out of the way in time. All right, so I'm not gonna like this. You need to roll iron roll. Oh, well, this will be an iron roll for iron, but it is endure harm, which you do get a bonus on. A pretty significant one, if memory serves, because you are geared for war. When you endure harm in a fight, add +2. So you're actually going to be making this roll with a grand total of 4.
And I get a momentum
If you hit.
if I hit.
If you get a hit. Strong or weak. Oh, there it is. A strong
thank
hit. So you get an extra momentum for your ironclad ability. And also, you get to choose one. You can take a free momentum, or you can suffer 1 momentum in exchange for 1 health. You are currently at 1 health total.
I'm gonna have to take the health.
All right.
Because I got a 50-50 chance with the momentum, and my health is very low.
Yeah. This is rough. All right. Let's swivel back over to Glane.
So where am I in relation to everything right now?
All right. So you're sort of at a bit of a distance, but you're sort of trying to keep your position just right. Trying to line up a spot where you can kind of get an attack in without endangering yourself too much. You do still have that crossbow. But
Yeah.
right now the creature is in
is-
control of this battle.
Is the mulk still on fire?
The fire was a sort of very brief event. The quick flames did sort of singe the creature a bit, but it did not really catch the whole creature on fire. So that opening is not
Okay.
available.
But I have a crossbow.
You have a
And
crossbow.
Its weak points are these eyes up in the sky.
Yes. You know that that's at least its
Ugh.
most vulnerable position, but very hard to hit.
Right. Am I in line of sight of this thing? Like it can see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you could try and dip away out of the battle for a bit, but it would be risky.
Yeah. Because we have kind of like a bunch of like tree line kind of around us, right?
Yes. Easy for you to sort of kind of
Roll back into.
yeah.
Okay. What I would like to try to do is to see if I can roll back into the foliage and then run around the circumference of it to try to get behind it and up on top of its shell.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, so you're trying to just move into a good position here. I think this is going to be secure an advantage. And you're doing this with stealth or trickery, so you get to roll shadow here.
Does my shadow walk do anything here, or is that only when I'm going in for a hit?
You can do that in order to, let's see here. Let's see. So on a strong hit, take momentum. So this is for a
Or
reroll.
would my cutthroat be better than shadow walk?
Where is your dagger?
Oh, because I don't have. Yeah, that's a dagger or knife. This is a crossbow.
Yeah.
So it has to be shadow walk.
Let's see here. Yeah, you could go for the shadow walk here. So that would be a shadow roll, which you've got a good chance there. Now shadow walk is always a bit of a risk, but it's okay. Ooh, barely. So for shadow walk, you cloak yourself with the gossamer veil of the shadow realms. Take a +1 momentum. That is very welcome. And then re-roll any dice when you make a move by ambushing, hiding, or sneaking. So you can choose to go straight into the attack here if you'd like. to go for this ambush attack.
And this is coming from the top of the shell. Did I make it on top of there?
Yes, so you sort of disappear behind a tree, and in an instant, you are just gone into the shadows of the forest. And then, before anyone can kind of react to where you've gone, because they're all focused on this approaching beast, they notice that you're dropping down from above suddenly onto the creature's back.
Okay. Is from looking at the back of because I'm looking at the back of the creature's eyes now.
Yes.
Would shooting the back of them work as well as
Not as
side
well
of
as the front, but it would be a definitely a good hit if you can pull it off.
Okay.
But it's difficult
And
to
it-
sort of maintain your balance on top of this great creature.
Right. I would like to dislodge one of the arrows, the bolts from my crossbow, leap onto the stalk, and try to plunge it into the front of the eye.
All right. Well, let's see here.
You're gonna take touch damage from that.
Well, the slime, is it all over it, or is it not on the bottom?
More being secreted from the base.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll have to roll. Let's see. Now you're not going to be attacking at range this way, which means you'll have to be rolling iron, which is your worst. You're not a particularly good close combat fighter when you don't have your dagger.
Okay.
Does he still get the reroll if something
I
goes
get a
bad?
reroll, and I have momentum.
Yes.
Okay.
You have very little
Can I-
momentum.
Can I use those in conjunction with each other?
Yes.
Okay. There I go. Killing again.
All right. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if
Well,
it matters.
you could re-roll the whole set.
Oh, I can. Well, would I want to re-roll just his, though? Because mine is good, right?
Yours is actually below average.
4.
With a
What's the-
a raw 3 is on the bottom
it's
half.
like middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's supposed to be up to a 6. Yeah, let's go ahead and re-roll all of them.
All right. So command is iron re-roll ABC.
Yeah, you have a command for this.
Yeah.
Iron re-roll one word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then 1.
Iron re-roll ABC. It's gonna re-roll the exact same thing, and it's
Oh.
it's gonna recycle. Yeah. Well, that's definitely better.
If I use my momentum, can I turn it into a strong?
You only have 3 momentum, so a 3 would be
So no.
much worse than your current 7. Yes. So
Oh, because that doesn't add to what I have.
nope, it replaces the whole thing.
It plants it. Okay.
So you do
There
get
we
to
go, we
inflict
could.
your harm, but you lose initiative. You didn't have initiative. That was the wrong. You know what? That's fine. Whatever. Actually, we do need to oops, clash. Since you did not have initiative, you were still fighting with iron. So on a weak hit, inflict your harm, but pay the price. So you managed to inflict harm. However, being up here on top of this creature is extremely dangerous. Being able to actually land a hit is not going to be easy. So you're going to need to make a roll with edge. So +2. Iron roll 2 to see if you pull this off safely or not. So you're up here. Ooh, yes.
Boom, baby.
So you're up here. You manage to stab an arrow. You don't get the direct hit you're hoping for. It's kind of a grazing hit. But you feel the creature shake beneath you. Instinctively, you sort of grab down onto this sort of mossy back of the behemoth as it tries to sort of rock you off. But you manage to hold your grip tight and do not fall. Now, you're still in a bit of a tough spot. You're definitely not going to be able to get a clean hit in up here while you're trying to balance, but you were able to damage it. Let's look at what Serene is doing down below.
I'm going to make a strategic fallback and try and scale a tree to get some height on this guy.
Okay.
So that I'm shooting down, which should lower my chances of accidentally shooting Glane.
True. All right, so you're gonna be quickly moving, trying to scamper up into the trees. Let's say that's with speed, agility, and precision. Roll edge for that to secure an advantage. Come on. Oh, a strong hit. Choose one. Choose one. You can either make your next action with a +1, or take 2 momentum.
Already at 8. Let's make the next move at a +1.
All right, so you're going for an attack here.
Yes.
All right. Still, the creature has the initiative, but you've got edge and a +1 here, so that's going to be a total of a +3 on this attack. So you prepare, you sort of line up your shot carefully. A strong hit. This is it. You bolster your position. Okay, so first of all, inflict your harm and choose one. You gain the initiative back, and now you can choose. No, wait, you get both of these, don't you? On a strong hit, inflict your harm. Oh no, and choose one. So either 1 extra momentum or 1 extra harm.
I'm pretty set in the momentum department. Let's harm.
All right. So you line up your shot carefully from the trees, and you unleash your arrow, and you manage to get a very satisfying hit on this creature. Glane is gripping for dear life, trying not to fall off, but he did in fact fall off of the call. That's unfortunate. Well, we'll do what we can. If you guys see him in the general chat, let me know and I'll throw him back in. So, now Serene has this position up top where she's able to continue her assault. And now she is sort of
in
directing...
General, you can pull him.
Ah, there he is. So now Serene is sort of directing the combat with the creature, at least for herself. Meanwhile, on the ground, Torgan is still reeling from the blow that he sustained from the creature. Torgan, what are you going to do here? What's your plan?
Fall back.
I don't really have any other choice other than to fall back. I'm in a lot of danger. The trouble is, I don't see what I can do to be helpful by just falling back. I don't have any long-range weapons.
Well, not being dead's usually a good start.
This is true.
We don't want to have to save you. That's inconvenient. If you could save yourself, that's pretty helpful.
You can secure an advantage and pass the benefit on to someone else if you've got some way of how you can sort of assist Glane or Serene in their maneuvers.
Okay, I would like to
well, let's start with so Glane is on the back of this creature, just trying to keep balanced so he can maintain the slight advantageous position he's got. Serene, you've sort of lost track of her, but you just saw an arrow zip down from above, so you know she's somewhere up in the trees.
Can I distract it?
Oh, here's something. So you just sort of tried to strike the creature and sort of ricocheted off, and you got really close and personal with the sort of massive underside of this creature. One thing you do see, kind of close to the side of the creature's great carapace, is Glane's dagger sticking out. Which you might be able to retrieve in sort of an attempt to sort of attack the creature, but also sort of reclaim an advantage for Glane.
That's what I'm gonna have to do.
All right, let's see here. This is not going to be easy, but if it pays off, it will work well. Let's have you roll with iron for an iron roll 2.
Okay.
This is a good one for you. Okay, that's all right. A weak hit.
Okay.
You get a short-lived advantage here, but you do get an advantage. So, first of all, you get 1 momentum for successfully securing an advantage. But it's a short-lived advantage. You manage to grab Glane's dagger. You retrieve it from the creature. You were hoping to grab it and sort of carve into the creature as you yanked it out. But with the speed this creature's moving and the surprising agility it has for something of such a great size, you're not able to get that attack in you wanted. But you do manage to sort of put some distance between you and the creature, and now you have the dagger.
Okay. I need to get it to Glane.
This is the tricky part. So let's see here. How are you going to pull this off? It's not going to be easy.
Can I lightly toss it without stabbing him?
Yeah, a precise throw. That's going to be an iron roll 1 for edge. Not your best, but if you can pull it off, you'll have Glane in a perfect position here.
Okay.
All right. Once he's reunited with his dagger, he's going to be in a good place. Come on. Wait.
No.
Wait, but you can burn your momentum to turn that into a weak hit.
That's what I want to do.
All right.
Yes.
Good call. All right. That makes it a weak hit for a short-lived advantage. And because we are doing this as an aid-ally maneuver, Glane is going to take the benefits of this move, which means, first of all, the momentum goes to Glane, and also, Glane, you now have your dagger back. So, Torgan, reeling from that deflected blow, looks for an opening, spots the dagger, grabs it from the creature, barely getting out without suffering more of the creature's debilitating acidic touch. He gets some distance between himself and the creature, lines up a good angle with Glane, shouts out to him, "Glane! Heads up!" Lobs the dagger up into the air and crosses his fingers as he continues to sort of keep his distance from this rampaging beast. Glane, hearing the shout and spotting the glint of metal, snatches it right out of the air, gripping it by the handle. Glane, with your dagger retrieved, you do have, let's see here. This creature is, I'm not sure if I would say unsuspecting exactly.
I am behind it, but it knows I'm there.
Yeah. Now, let's see here. Now, perhaps if one of your teammates can sort of draw the creature's full attention away, then maybe you could take advantage of that cutthroat maneuver.
Serene, I'm about dead.
Yeah, I'm not in a position to do much about it.
Is
Serene, you can just go for a shot from above. Tactical
Yeah, it wouldn't cause you any danger to shoot at it.
I mean, that's what I've been doing.
All right, let's spin over to Serene. So Serene is still up in the trees, sort of lining up her shots carefully. Now let's see here. Serene, did you have, what was your second? Archer. If you wield a bow, when you secure an advantage by taking a moment to aim, choose your approach and add +1. So you've got this extra ability as an archer.
So I can turn that 2 into a 3 for that edge.
Yeah, so this is for a secure an advantage roll, which I think would still be edge. Oh wait, no, you could do wits to trust your instincts.
Okay. Which would make
and you get
4.
to add +1 for this approach. So this would give you a +4 on your secure an advantage roll, and it would give you even more momentum, as if you needed more of that.
Hey, I always like having momentum.
Yeah.
And I like a +4. That sounds really good.
All right, let's have that then.
All right.
Can't argue with the +4.
Oh no!
What? Hell?
What?
What the hell?
A 7 and
Oh.
a 9.
This is just for the securing the advantage. So what's the downside to that one?
All right, let's take a look. I think you have to pay the price. You fail or your assumptions betray you. Pay the price. Okay, so you were already in a pretty good position.
To burn momentum.
Are you going to do it?
I think we have to.
I mean, you definitely got it to spare here.
+4. I can't believe a +4. Seriously?
Just barely, just by 1. Okay, burning momentum to turn that into a weak hit. So,
This is getting intense. Also, don't ask what happened to TTS, man.
thanks, Hudson. So let's see here. So unfortunately, not a strong hit, but it is a weak hit. So you do at least successfully secure an advantage, is the thing. A weak hit. So you have prevented yourself from suffering consequences. But you can now make a strike. Oh, that was such a close miss there. All right, let's see what
Okay,
happens.
I'm rolling what now?
So this
4?
will be attacking at range,
3.
so edge. So it'll just be 2.
Wasn't the whole point to get a bonus?
Yes, but you failed at getting a bonus.
Because it was only a weak hit.
Let's see here. So you secured an advantage with an extra bonus. And had you made a strong hit, you would have taken a total of +3 momentum on that advantage. But since you did not, you only get the +1,
Okay.
which now puts you at 3 total.
Yeah, so I was thinking we should be at 3.
Yeah, you're at 3 momentum, but your strike will still be just edge,
Oh, okay.
which is a 2 for you. Oh no!
Are you freaking
Oh
kidding me?
no!
Well, it was a 10. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah, that one there's nothing to do with, but oh dear. Okay, well now I think now
Well, I just missed. I missed with the arrow. I'm still in a safe position.
well that's where pay the price comes in. I think we need to face danger. You are going to need to roll. This is going to be edge as well, so another iron roll 2.
This is exactly what I was afraid of. It can't, like, spit acid, can it?
Don't give him ideas.
That's what I was afraid of. I was thinking, like, oh god, no.
All right. Oh my goodness!
Dobbs, your bot is skewed.
Apparently, all these 10s, these unstoppable 10s. All right, well, you fail It's a costly turn of events. Pay the price. I think at this point you do have to endure harm. There's no getting around that. Yeah, this creature has been stung by these stinging nettles coming at it from above, and it charges towards the direction of the pain. The creature is fairly simple in that aspect, but as a result, it collides with the tree at full speed. The creature has just sort of bowls right through, but the tree is just splintered at the base and begins to fall. Serene begins to tumble down.
Iron roll, what now?
1.
Oh, great.
A weak hit. All right. So we are
Better
where we
far.
are. So momentum is, initiative is lost. Let's see. Torgan, is there anything you can do here?
I'm going to try to get its attention so that Glane can try to hack at one of its eyes with his sword, with his thing.
All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna call that a heart roll, acting with courage and for loyalty. So go ahead and roll Iron Roll 3. All right. So Torgan sort of stands out in the open and starts banging his sword against the shield. Hey, come and get it, you! All right. Glane, the creature is distracted. Now,
Yes,
you don't
ma'am.
technically have the initiative here. And I'm not sure if this is enough to call this a straight-up position for an unsuspecting foe here.
Well, he did just give itself brain damage by ramming into a tree.
Yeah, what little brain there may be in that thing. The big advantage here is
this
the
gonna be a
increase to your
regular
momentum.
attack?
This will be clash, yeah. This will just be a regular attack.
Okay,
so you'll be rolling with, let's see, you are in close quarters, rolling iron, which is your weakest, unfortunately.
All right, my mapping this out is I grabbed the knife out of the air from when he threw it.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it's covered in, the goo that's from inside this thing. It's blood, or whatever it's got inside it. I sheath the dagger really quickly in my sandbag just for luck, and then
Yeah.
I try to give it one more good shot in the eye.
Okay. So let's see. So what was that you're gonna do just real quickly before you attack?
Since the dagger is wet with its
Okay.
insides, I'm jamming it in the salt bag so that it picks some of that up. Because even if it's not
Okay.
its weakness, it's salt in your eye now.
Let's
It's granules.
yes. You know what?
Nothing
Let's make a secure an advantage roll with wits. So Iron Roll 2. If you can get a strong hit on this is going to give you a major bonus for your attack.
Ugh.
And
no.
if not, you were going to miss anyway. So what's the difference? Oh my goodness.
I cut the bag off my belt when I reached down and it fell.
Seems like it.
But I still
So-
get to go in for the poke, right?
Still get to go for the... Yeah, you can still go for the clash.
Which is a 1.
What's that?
Which is a 1. A roll of a 1, right?
Yeah, that'll still be a 1.
Oh, we need some luck.
Come on, come on.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
A
no.
miss and a
And
match.
a match. No.
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not going to be good. All right.
Dog,
Well-
why are you TPKing us?
I mean,
Dobbs
that,
wanted to kill us tonight. I know he did. I felt it.
this is going to be rough.
He's got somewhere to be next Monday.
That's what it is. All right. Well,
He baited the bot against us when we weren't looking.
I'm going to give you a chance to sort of play this off. let's give you a roll of edge. Iron roll 2.
Okay.
All right. So that's
What does
a
this
weak
roll
hit,
for?
which isn't great. You succeed, but face a troublesome cost. We're gonna dip that momentum down, and you are losing your position on top of the creature. So what happens there is you sort of salt your blade and prepare to kind of jab it in the beast's eye stalk. But just as you do, the creature runs into a tree, of all things. You are shaken from your position and tumble down to the ground. You're not injured. You sort of take a moment to kind of get your bearing, get back on your feet, and you're ready for more. So you've lost a bit of momentum. You've lost your advantageous position, but you're okay. All right. Ugh. Torgan, do you want to move in for an attack?
I see no other way but to.
Let's see here. Now you can
weird.
attempt to secure an advantage first if you're wanting to try. I want to size up I want to brace myself in a good spot to kind of face the creature head on for a charge, something like that.
That'll be fine.
All right, then let's let you roll with heart. A courageous stand here. A weak hit. You get momentum. Now let's see here. Ooh, okay. I want to tell you about one move that we've never used.
Okay.
Turn the Tide. It's once per fight only. You risk it all. You steal initiative from your foe and make a move. And when you do, you get to add 1 to that roll. But if you make a miss on that, it's a dire outcome. Now, just keep that in mind. You don't have to use that now. Right now, you would be using Clash, which is you'll be rolling Iron, which is a +2 for you, which is not bad. It's not bad. Where you've got the possibility of taking the initiative anyway.
I'm going to have to play it safe because
Okay.
I'm very low on life, and we all kind of, well, Flame's not. But I'm just going to do the Iron Roll 2.
Yeah.
Things are not being kind to us tonight.
I will point out, 0 health does not mean you're dead. Don't worry about that. Oh my gosh, how these rolls are too good. You are outmatched. You must pay the price, and your foe has initiative. I do think you need to endure harm here.
Great.
Or maybe he loses his fancy sword.
That would be a rough consequence as well.
He's like, just kill me.
They're just options. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I mean, am I going to be clear down to 0 health, or am I just going down
Yes,
to 1?
and 0 health is not dead. It's only dead. Well, here's where, if you are at 0 health, and you miss on endure harm, then you can take a debility such as wounded or maimed, or if you've already got those, for instance, then you have a chance of facing death.
So what am I doing now? Now I don't have initiative, and
And now you
I
need
have
to
to
roll
choose to attack?
iron. You need to roll iron. Oh wait, if your health is 0, suffer momentum equal to any remaining negative health. So because that puts you down Let's see, what did that put you down to? -2. So you lost 2 momentum, putting you at 0 momentum. Which is good. You never want to be in negative momentum. But now you need to roll iron.
Okay.
Basically, the advantage you're rolling for here is you might get 1 momentum. Or this might be a mortal blow.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
Oh.
You know, maybe this would be a convenient time for those people we left behind to miraculously suddenly show up, and we could retcon this particular last
There
three
is
rolls.
no retcon.
Let's see here.
I would love.
When you endure harm, add +2. That would be for another roll.
Oh, that would be for this roll that you just made. That would not have made a difference though.
Reroll.
No, I have. All right. As much as I would love to fudge this roll, I'm gonna roll this D100 publicly. This is again not a death roll. This one does not mean the difference between life and death, but it could put us on that roll.
Oh, God.
25. You are unconscious, out of action.
Ah,
If left alone, you come back to your senses in an hour or 2. If you are vulnerable to a foe not inclined to show mercy, face death. So, the nice thing is that this creature is not actively, targeting you. It is a mindless beast, and it sees threats all around it right now still. So it is not going to just sit there and try to finish the job. But Torgen is unconscious on the ground. Torgen digs in his heels as the creature charges forward, hoping that maybe he can put a stop to it now. He steadies himself, swings his sword, but the timing is misjudged. He is knocked down by the force of this creature, this unstoppable object, and falls to the ground unconscious.
So it's Glenn's turn, right?
Let's see what Glane is doing. Shut up, bot.
I would like to. Can I chat you something to see if this is something I'm allowed to do?
Sure.
Okay.
I've got all of my forms of communication open right now.
I'm opening up my whispers.
Okay. Come on. All right, let's see here.
Is that something that's even? Is that even in my
Ooh.
wheelhouse?
Oh boy. All right, let's see here. This is a massive risk.
I'm at maximum health. So
All right. I don't know if this is possible. We're going to find out together.
Oh boy.
All right.
you want me to talk this through? Or...
All right. Here's the roles I request here are not the official declaration of how this will work in the future. Because I have not thought of how this could be balanced. For now, just roll. Let's start with just rolling Iron Roll with Shadow. So, +3.
Should I talk it out first?
No,
My
not
pistol?
until we see the results of the roll.
Iron roll 3.
Iron roll 3.
Oh god.
Why? Why?
You know what? Looking at the bad stuff for this is actually perfect.
Oh no.
He wants to kill us.
I mean, there's probably a cost associated with what I proposed.
This is why you're the red-eyed creature in the sky.
So, here's what happens.
Dirge of Service.
I don't know what that is, but sure. Gotcha. All right, here we go. Go on. No, we want mysterious right now. We want mysterious music. Hang on. Here, this one. Perfect. Probably. Torgon, quickly losing consciousness on the ground, spots the creature as it careens across the forest floor. Glaine and Serene fleeing as best they can, trying to find some opening. Glaine, desperate, looks around, thinks carefully through the techniques he knows to try and see if he's got any out here. He knows it would be easy enough for himself to slip away unseen, but there's too much at risk right now. Glaine signals over to Serene towards Torgon's fallen body and makes a beeline towards it as the creature barrels down upon them, the ground shaking more and more as the creature grows ever closer. Serene quickly reaches down to pull Torgon to safety, finding him unexpectedly sturdy and stuck in the ground. Glaine takes a moment to consider the risks. And as the shadow of the beast comes right over, the three of you disappear within the veil of shadows.
He took us with him?
The crackling of the fire of the clutch of eggs continues burning. The nest of the mollusk hatchlings flickering out one by one as their lives extinguish. One more threat removed from the forest. The mollusk itself still rages on there within the northern woods. But what of Glaine, Serene, and Torgon? To where did they go? Well, that will be a story for another time.
Have I done?
The end.
Because your bot yelled at you about going to bed.
I mean, I won't say that didn't have a little bit of a bearing on my decision, but GameCube presented an excellent suggestion, just crazy enough to work, and then he failed, and I couldn't pass it up.
We're gonna wake up on different continents.
Oh.
Oh god.
We're gonna be back in the Undying Lands, and all the elves are gonna be standing around us like, Serene, what the hell did you bring home with you?
I can't believe this has happened.
this was in the back of my mind for the whole fight. If it had gone the other way, and I was the one who was at 1 or 0, and you guys were doing fine, I was just gonna pull an "I'm sorry" and disappear.
Oh no.
But I was the one who was standing at the end, so
Ah,
I just kind of turned that on its head.
sure did. So let's see here. So, endure harm. So, it's got to be that you've actually got to be dropped to 0, and you miss on endure harm. Like, if you get dropped to 0, but you do a weak hit or a strong hit, you're not dead. In fact, you can just keep on fighting. It's only if you are at
Are you
0.
talking about Torgan right now, or me?
Yeah, Torgan. It's only when you actually land that miss. Oh, and actually you also suffer -1 momentum. So you're technically at -1 right now, which that's going to be awful, and I'm going to have to program it into my bot. Actually, I'm not going to bother. But then after that, it's like, okay, then there's varying degrees of, are you immediately dead? Are you going to be dead if you don't get medical attention? Are you going to be dead if you're the only thing fighting this thing that wants you dead? Oh, et cetera, et cetera.
Am I dead?
You got
No.
a 25 on that roll, so you are just unconscious.
Okay.
So that's what
You have
happened
a
there.
concussion.
Wherever we went.
So I
We're
did
taking
survive.
We're taking you to the hospital to get a CAT scan.
Well, we're
Okay.
taking
Yeah.
him God knows where.
Yeah. Now, if you had rolled, if that 100, if that had rolled a 1 through 10, you would still not immediately be dead, but you would have to make a special move called Face Death. In which, if you got a strong hit, death rejects you, you are cast back into the mortal world. On a weak hit, you can come back at a price, and then on a miss, no, you are just dead. So there are several safety nets of sorts of like, okay, yeah, you took damage, but you've still got some health left. And then it's, okay, yeah, you took damage and you have 0 health left, but you didn't get a miss, so you're still in the fight. Or then, okay, yeah, you took damage, you were at 0 health, you missed, but now you get to roll on this table 1 to 100. 50-50 shot, you're fine still. And then it's,
There is
okay,
a
now you have
gigantic
one
angry
last
wolf in the world.
roll, one last chance to not die. So they give you some opportunities to hold on.
I just want to point out that Glane is on the back of a snail, a very bad snail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it immediately like in extreme amounts of danger. Serene is up a tree.
Mm-hmm. And
You
you're
know,
running
could
around to
fall down.
yakety sax.
I'm down minding my own business. I once again take most of the brunt of this.
Mm-hmm.
Minding my own business.
I'm an archer. What do you want from me?
I don't
This
know,
is-
but this keeps happening. I don't want to be making these crazy moves or anything, and I keep ending up in these life or death situations.
It's true.
You want to talk keeps happening. This is the second episode in a row I've been rodeoing on the back of something that we've been fighting.
I'm
You
just
can't keep ending like this.
Worked out a lot better last time.
Yeah.
Turns out it doesn't always.
Now there's a giant mole pissed off at us, screaming into the woods. Screaming revenge.
now
will
it
say-
has a vowel.
That's like a crow. Those things know faces. It's going to remember us.
A murder of Molsk. I will say,
I was
pretty
waiting
much
for the
from the
parent to come
start,
back. That wasn't even the parent. That was a baby.
1 of 100.
Yeah.
Ever since this sort of got underway, I almost immediately knew that there was going to be a beast, and it was going to have to be called a molsk, and it was going to be about the size of an elephant, and very deadly.
I can see why Catcher didn't like this thing.
Yeah, let alone 100 more of them.
Yeah. And 101, really, because there's a parent, so it's 101 mollusks.
I love that movie.
And that's assuming there's only one eggs.
Mm-hmm. A lot of assumptions here.
And
Well.
one this old, it's been laying eggs for a long time.
So this does put you guys in. I'm gonna delete the Val. I'm gonna delete the Molsk from the combat tracker. That combat is over. So this puts you guys in a very interesting position, and I guess we'll figure out what happens next time.
Oh boy.
What a twist here.
Hail Mary retreat.
Yeah.
It's like we just spun a globe and threw a dart at it. We're gonna go wherever that hits.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see
Maybe
what
together,
happens here.
Maybe not.
We sort of protected Greatfield from a mysterious threat.
That's true.
We made some progress. The mollusk was what, half dead?
Yeah. Actually,
And the
there are a
babies are
couple
gone.
more. There are a couple more steps of progress that you guys made that'll put you almost at completion, but not quite there. I think. I don't think that vow will really be complete until the mollusk is dead. But you guys are almost done on that vow. If you ever see that mollusk again.
If we ever make it back here.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, I'm extremely disappointed.
Well, I'm just the bot just suddenly decided it hated us. It just,
That was rough.
it's like strong hit, strong hit, strong hit, weak hit, weak hit, strong hit. Miss, 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 miss.
Yeah.
To heck with you too, bot.
It was pretty bad there, wasn't it? Yeah, the last three were all misses. Straight up misses. And
I feel
actually,
beat
that
up.
said, that last one, you were only up against a 5 and a 6. But you just didn't have the momentum for it.
Oh, and I don't know if you're taking what I said in that message into consideration, as far as like what I do to do this.
No, we'll
Figure that out later.
yeah, we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Oh. Well,
I just feel beat up. I feel like we've just been beat on.
We got snailed.
Ironsworn as a system is very unforgiving, and sometimes a lot of bad things in a row will just happen. But the fact that your health is like you did not die, you can basically get out of this okay. But you will want to get patched
If we'd
up.
stayed there, that was going to be very interesting, because her arrows aren't doing anything, and clearly nothing I do works.
Yeah, it's like
It's
okay, you guys
uniquely
actually
equipped
landed
to handle us.
some decent hits along the way.
But it's still less than halfway killed, right?
I think when we left off, it
wasn't
was
even-
at 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, so barely half. Everything we did, and one of us is essentially down.
Actually, here, just for kicks.
Are we going to do an end fight roll? Is that what you want to do?
I want to just see. What is the name for that? Iron Progress. I think. Iron Progress 5.
In the fight.
Yeah. Okay, it would have gone badly.
Oh.
Oh, and a match. It would have gone very badly. Iron ore. Well, I think this is an interesting twist in the story arc, and I feel like we're moving on to a sort of interesting, like sort of different arc here. It kind of feels like this
We
first
tasted defeat.
Yeah, it feels like this first 5 episodes was like just the introduction to the story at this point now. What's going on now?
We were mostly successful up to this point.
That's true. You guys have had a lot of very good rolls and very lucky sets of combat going on. we're going to see what happens next week on episode 6.
Dun dun dun.
Got only a week to figure this all out.
Mm-hmm. Easy. I'll just roll dice 5 minutes before and see what it says.
Very little thought put into this. You know what? Let the game
Obviously.
decide.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end the episode there, and let's see how that crew is gonna get out of this one.
Oh, of course.
Do you
All
want to
right.
raid Jen?
We could do that. We got a little bit of a crew, and I was seeing who was on. I don't know the game, but I would not be against it. Some kind of visual novel by the thumbnail I'm seeing. All right.
She's been doing a lot of those lately.
Nice. Well, let's hang out with Jen. For those that don't know, Jen's great to hang out with. Very chill streamer. Actually, I don't need to do exclamation mark anything. I can just click the button. Everyone, thank you for joining us on this exciting twist of an episode of DobbsQuest. We'll be back with more action and turtle luck next Monday.
Yeah, we should have been spamming that emote this whole time, shouldn't we? That was the problem. It was mad at us because we weren't using the emote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a snail.
And it's a snail, that too.
I made that emote.
You did. It
You
turned out
did.
very nice. All right. Bye, Twitch. Raid now. All right.